Welcome to this training on how to develop your own pregame routine. In it, we're going to talk about what a pregame routine is, the importance of a pregame routine, and then I'm going to run you through the specific mental training tools you can use to create a pregame routine of your own. So let's get started. Developing your own pregame routine. Now, the reason that you want to develop a pregame routine is because it's going to really help ground you in the present moment and shift your focus inward. When I'm talking about a pregame routine, I am talking about it in terms of mental training and the mental game, right? I'm talking about how you can approach the game mentally in a consistent way through the use of a pregame routine. One of the things I firmly believe is that consistent outcomes come from consistency in approach, and that consistency in approach can be gotten through a well thought out pregame routine. So when you're developing your own pregame routine, there are two phases that you want to pay attention to. There is the night before, and then there is game day, right? The night before, though, sometimes is going to include days leading up to the game, but it sometimes is also going to be just that night before the game. It's really going to depend on your sport, right? For example, if you're a football player, you play once a week. Therefore, the night before is going to be the entire week leading into that game. If you're a basketball player or a baseball player, you play more frequently during the week. So it's more than likely going to be just maybe one night or two nights before the game starts. But either way, it's just the mindset of breaking it up, saying, okay, this is the days or day leading into the game, and this is game day, right? The morning or the afternoon before the game actually starts. So the night before phase is where you're going to prepare for your opponent, which means you're really wanting to gain information on your opponent, right? Look into them as much as you want to. You have to be careful with this because sometimes looking into your opponent can cause you more anxiety, right? Maybe you psych yourself out because they look really good, or if you don't think they're that good, you may underestimate them. But if you can do this in a objective way where you don't let it affect you emotionally, it can provide you some pretty valuable information depending on your sport just by knowing who you're actually playing against. So that's one part of it, preparing for your opponent. And then the next part is performing some mental rehearsal. Now, with mental rehearsal, you're going to want to have a specific strategy to go over. You're going to want to have moments within the game, aspects of your performance that you're going to want to rehearse. For this, what I would really recommend is thinking about your strengths and your weaknesses. Thinking about the times within your game where you lack the most confidence. Maybe you feel a little bit more anxious. And really spend time the day before, the days before, visualizing that. It's going to help you build confidence. It's going to help you build trust in yourself. With your visualization and your mental rehearsal, what you want to do is imagine yourself performing your skills. Imagine yourself going through competition. See it in detail. Feel confident while you do it, and then afterwards, you have to make sure that you feel success. Now, it may feel a little silly, it may seem odd, but feeling that success is important because what you're wanting to do is build confidence and trust in yourself. Confidence and trust are built through experience. They're built through seeing yourself succeed. When you are performing visualization, you have to make sure you bring that element of seeing yourself succeed at the end of the visualization and really feeling that for it to have the most impact that it can on your confidence moving forward into game time. And then we move to game day. Now, with game day, there are a few different skills, so I'm going to just kind of brush over them real fast, and then what we're going to do is go into each of them one by one. So we have define success, breath work, visualization, process focused, and arrive early. So with defining success, what you're wanting to do is figure out what it will mean for you to be successful that game. This may seem a little odd. You may think, well, for me to be successful, it means I win. But I know that's what you want. You want to win. But by setting yourself something that you define as meaning success, you personally can build confidence and actually improve rather than being very black and white about your performance of it was either good or it was bad. Because sometimes you might do everything that you wanted to do and follow everything perfectly and still lose. There's other forces at play when it comes to you winning or losing, so you shouldn't let that be what you define success by. When you're wanting to define success, make it something that you can control. Make it something that you have the power to say, if I do this, I'm going to be successful, versus if I do this, there's still other factors that have to play into me being successful. So what you want to do in terms of the day of is that morning, set yourself some performance objectives, some process goals. Performance objectives and process goals are aspects of your game that are within your control. And this is something that it's going to mean you were successful if you followed them, but also during the game or during the match, they give you something to focus on. So rather than being focused on the outcome and thinking about what if you begin to lose, you're not going to be thinking about the score. All you have to do is focus on your performance objectives, and it's a very great way for you to really take control of your focus and your attention during a game. Then the next tool is going to be breath work. Now, with breath work, we can do this a few different times. You can do breath work before you get to the field or court, a little bit more formal meditation maybe, or some count breathing where you breathe in for a count of 5, out for a count of 10, do some box breathing, right? But you're going to do this for an extended period of time. We're talking 5 to 10 minutes. And that is where you're really just centering yourself and calming yourself the morning before a game. But what you can also do is right before the game begins, maybe you're stretching or you're warming up, bring your attention to your breath and perform some breath work there. It's not going to be as formal where you're closing your eyes and really trying to center yourself and calm yourself down. But what you're going to do is be centering your attention while you're moving around and while you're practicing, while you're warming up, but you're just still focusing on your breathing, right? So you just still have that breathing pattern. You're gaining control of your breath, which is a pretty important piece to you feeling calm and focused going into the game. So you can do breath work either before you get to the field or court or right before the game starts when you're warming up. Then there's visualization. Visualization is pretty much going to be the same as it was the night before, but we have a few different tweaks to it, right? So when it comes to visualization, the night before you did a very formal mental rehearsal when it came to your skills within your sport or competing during competition. Before you get to the field or court, just like with the breath work, I recommend you doing that again. But right before the game starts, another pretty cool way that you can use visualization within your pregame routine is thinking about past successes. You don't have to do this with your eyes closed in a formal visualization practice. Just right before the game starts, maybe when they're playing the national anthem or something, you can just be running through your mind times when you succeeded in the past. And that's going to immediately be boosting your confidence and making you feel really ready to perform because you know, I've done it so many times before, I know I can do it again. And then next is process focused. So when you're wanting to be process focused for your pregame routine right before competition, I recommend going back over your performance objectives and your process goals that you set when you were defining success for yourself. So this can happen maybe right when you're at the field or the court, before the game starts, before the match starts. Just start remembering your process goals, and that's going to help to center your attention and bring you back into this present moment. And then the last one is just to arrive early, right? This kind of brings all of them together because if you arrive early, this is going to give you more time to maybe do some breath work and visualization when you're at the field or court. Maybe go back over your performance objectives, right? But more importantly, have you ever shown up to a game late and you felt like you were just really rushing and then the whole game you kind of felt like you were a step behind? That's happened to me before, and I can promise you I didn't play my best at all, not even by a long shot. It's because you get your mind and you get your body like in this rush state. To counteract that, if you can help it, right? You can't do this if you're on a plane ride or you're on a bus trip, but if you can help it by arriving early, you give yourself plenty of time to get centered, get grounded, and get the right mindset, your performance mindset ready to be able to perform your best going into the game. So use these tools, make them your own, take some of them, tweak them, leave some out depending on what you want to focus on, and craft your own pregame routine. Because a pregame routine is so important for you to have. Because remember, it builds consistency in approach. And consistency in approach leads to consistency in the outcome. So I would love to hear what your current pregame routine is, what kind of tools and techniques you use. So please leave that in the comments below. I hope you enjoy this training on a pregame routine. I think pregame routines are one of the most valuable tools that any athlete can learn. Now, within a pregame routine, one of the things that you're going to be doing is working towards your championship mindset. But first, you have to know what your championship mindset is. And that's why in the description below, I have a link to a free training that I've created that walks you through step-by-step an exercise that will help you figure out and define your own championship mindset. So go ahead and click that link and start that free training for yourself. Thank you for watching, and I wish you the best of success in all that you do.